A few days ago, Tua Tagovailoa went out there on a podcast and was asked a question about the differences between having Brian Flores as his head coach and Mike McDaniel. Obviously, Mike McDaniel got there 2 years ago, really changed a lot of things around, and Tua's numbers really increased after the implementation of that offense. But Tua said something that, had a lot of people shocked when he basically called out Brian Flores, the ex-Miami Dolphins head coach, the one who got fired and then tried to sue the NFL for racial discrimination. What an absolute joke. Fake victim bullshit. But he essentially said it was a big difference because Brian Flores is a terrible person, a terrible human being, and would essentially tell him that he was shit constantly, that he would always push him down. And Mike McDaniel's a guy who has a lot of confidence in him, really believes that he can build something around him. Now, I spoke when I made that video about how different people are going to respond to different leadership skills, and one of your responsibilities as a leader is to find out who responds to what and to implement that at a certain point. But also, old school football guys probably got coached a little bit harder than a lot of people do these days. Well, Brian Flores has responded after what Tua said at a Minnesota Vikings press conference, because he's the D coordinator up there. Not racist enough to not get hired as a defensive coordinator for some reason. He did respond, and I'll get to that in a moment, but I did first want to get to a little bit of elaboration from Jeff Darlington of ESPN, talking about some of the things that Tua was saying Brian Flores did while he was there.
If you're close to the Miami Dolphins, what can you tell us about that relationship?
Well, make no mistake, the things that he is alluding to there are actual things that happened. When he's talking about going out and getting someone else, he's talking about Deshaun Watson and Brian Flores' flirtations with that quarterback. When he's talking about being told that he sucks, those are real things that happened via text message from Flores to Tua. These are all things that happened. And by the way, these are all things I had reported at the time led to Brian Flores firing. The relationship between Tua Tagovailoa and Brian Flores and the deterioration of it is precisely the reason Flores was no longer the coach after that year.
Now, he would go on to say, the Dolphins, they brought Tua and they said, hey, we don't think we did right by you by having this guy here. We think things can be different with Mike McDaniel. We believe in him and we believe in what you can do going forward. But it is interesting, right? All the claims of I was fired because I'm black, that's why they don't like me. Well, it turns out he was actually saying some shit to their quarterback that they drafted that they didn't particularly appreciate. Now, Brian Flores has responded to this, and I don't know what else he could have said. He tried to say, listen, I support Tua. I wish him all the success in the world, basically. Let's listen to this.
Specific to, the comments that were made by Tua, I just want to say, look, I'm happy, genuinely happy, genuinely happy for the success that Tua's had. And I really wish him nothing but the best. And I think, player relationships are very important to me. I think that's kind of the foundation of coaching. I got into coaching because, I was impacted as a young guy by my high school coaches, my college coaches, by going all the way to Pop Warner. I got into coaching because, I want to make that same kind of impact, positive impact, pour it into young people, help them become, as KO says all the time, the best versions of themselves. And, that's really my goal always in coaching. So, I wish nothing but the best to Tua. Really, more than anything, I'm just focused on the Vikings, the 2024 Vikings, the players we have.
The players we still have, they're dealing with a lot of injuries, a lot of bad luck for the Vikings over the past couple months, no doubt about that. I don't know what else he really could have said, right? He's facing some big allegations from Tua because this actually has big effects on Brian Flores. Well, the NFL's just racist, the lawsuit that he filed. Because now hearing some of this stuff and some of the things he was, if he's literally just texting Tua, yeah, you're shit, you're dog shit, dude, we're going to go out and get somebody else because you're shit. That really does make it feel a little bit different about the vibe that was going down in Miami. Now, I also do think, like I said, you got a different era of athletes who are a little more sensitive and shit like that. We saw the way Bill Belichick handled Tom Brady. And we've heard Tom Brady talk about that, who he liked the fact that Bill got on him all the time. And he wanted Bill Belichick to get on him all the time, call him out for anything and everything, because if he was being held accountable, then that means that anybody could be held accountable. And maybe Tua's not exactly that kind of guy, but there's a difference between hard coaching and some of the things that are now being said about Brian Flores and Tua. This thing could potentially become a nightmare for Brian Flores' fake victim lawsuit against the NFL. And if that does happen, that's a good thing. But another part of the saga in Tua and Brian Flores and his exit from the Dolphins. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.